We are live here on Popcorn Planet with attorney Christopher Melcher, and we do have sad news. It looks like the autopsy has confirmed that the body found in Wyoming is missing YouTuber Gabby Petito. This is sadly what we were expecting to happen according to everything they've done, but this is a very tragic news that they've now confirmed it. They are also saying that there will be more info about the autopsy released once Gabby is home, the family attorney says. This is sad. It's confirmation, but I think a lot of us were predicting this. I don't think they would have done what they did had they not been pretty confident that it was Gabby. Christopher, while we still have you, again, if this was a criminal act at this point, if they've confirmed the body and they've had a day, and this is now breaking news, is this strange that they're not announcing further criminal activity potentially to Brian? Could this be troublesome for people who are wanting Brian's head on a stake? Do you have any takeaway on what they're revealing here? Or is this just a respectful motion to her family?
Well, all they're saying is it's her. They don't talk. They don't say the cause of death. So there's that's not disclosed that I'm seeing.
No.
And so that's the thing. I mean, I guess it's conceivable that, she was walking there in the wilderness and got, injured or got killed by a bear or something like that. We don't know until we see the autopsy report on the cause of death. And so we just don't have that info right now.
Is this standard, though, to sort of play it safe, if you will? Like, it does feel like at this point wouldn't they know if this was criminal activity, if they've had a whole day and they're releasing the identity? What is your take? I mean, as someone you've done criminal defense, you've I imagine experienced cases where bodies are found. Why pause on that, or could it be potential that they're just still not going to even tell us when the results are given?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a couple things at play here. One would be respect for the family is probably the predominant thing, because like they're saying, they're going to wait for her to come home. And, and when the FBI agent gave that press conference a couple days ago and they said, yes, we found a body or remains that kind of resemble or consistent with Gabby. I mean, he was almost in tears. So I think it was pretty clear that was her just based on his demeanor. But they're being very cautious, probably out of respect for the family, number one, not to release details that are going to be going around before the family has the time to process that information. I got to think that's first. Another reason why an investigator would withhold information is because they're hoping that they can get the suspect to talk. Now, that's not really realistic here because Brian's already lawyered up. But sometimes, they haven't got a lawyer. And so they want to say like, hey, we don't even know what happened exactly. And why don't you just come in and tell us? We want to get some information. And then they lure him in to an interview and get a bunch of damaging, incriminating statements out of the person before they can go to a lawyer and exercise their rights to remain silent.
I was going to say that's key right there. Because to me, it's like, yeah, you're right. He has lawyered up, but I don't know if his lawyer is very good. I think he's a real estate lawyer. From some people in the chat were saying the reality is, while we're all wanting to react immediately and get the information now, as we all been reporting this day every minute, just trying to get new information, it behooves them in a way to keep as much of their cards as possible, because the more they reveal, yes, this was a murder. For Brian to not even know if they know it's a murder is still a way for them to have the upper hand, correct?
Yeah, we don't know. It seems highly unlikely that Brian would ever give a statement to the police under these circumstances, because he never did, and he had a lawyer from the beginning. But in many cases, people do. And they think like, hey, I don't want to look guilty, so I'm going to talk to the police, even though they are guilty. They think they can talk their way out of it. The police are very good at holding on, like you say, to that information and kind of playing dumb and being like, hey, we don't really know what happened. Why don't you talk to us? Or they'll even, try and say, hey, I understand, maybe things got out of control. Maybe you didn't mean to do this. Maybe it was somebody else, and they just got to get them talking, because the more they talk, the more they're going to incriminate themselves. So they may hold it for that reason. But to me, I really doubt we're going to see that occur here, because he did get a lawyer immediately, never talked. Anything's possible, but my guess is they're holding the information out of respect for the family, or they just know something we don't know. Maybe there is another suspect. Maybe they got their eyes on the parents. I really don't know. But I think, look, you got the FBI, you got you got a ton of agencies on this thing. So I got to think that they're being careful for a reason.
Yeah, so all of you who are watching and going crazy trying to get this information, it's good to hear from Christopher that sort of insight and to have these conversations so we can remember to relax and be patient because, yeah, I mean, this is so tragic for her family to have this confirmation. They're still, I'm sure, very distracted by the hunt to find him. I'm sure they're still wanting to figure out and ask a lot of questions to him. However, this news is devastating for any parent, and it's why a lot of us have gotten, I think, so invested in this case. Gabby Petito, way too young. So it just makes me sad when the reality hits you on this case, because I think a lot of us have been following it so closely, still hoping to find her. But now the confirmation is there that yes, the body has been discovered and ID'd as Gabby. Christopher, I appreciate you being here as we wrap this clip up, because I'm clipping this so people are aware. The autopsy is really the next biggest important information we're going to get. Any other final thoughts or expectations that we can expect from this police department? It seems like you're saying we're going to probably have to wait a little while. They're going to give a statement, but do you suspect the statement tomorrow or whenever she comes home will be aggressive based on what you've seen so far?
Well, I hope so. I mean, if the cause of death is a result of some criminal activity, it's a homicide. I'm hoping that they would just go ahead and just name him if they're at that point. Also, the search for Brian, I mean, it just seems really, really difficult in those circumstances to find it. I don't know how long it's going to take to find him. And that could just be a while. But yeah, very, very sad news. Not unexpected, obviously, from what we heard at the press conference. But now we're left with the details. How did she die?
Lots more we're going to cover here. I just want to make sure you guys had this update. I'm clipping this for YouTube's sake. We're going to still be live. We have a lot to cover as we try to figure out this hunt for a Brian Laundrie, dirty laundry. There is footage that's come through that we're gonna dissect. Is this real? And lots more to go through. But Christopher, I appreciate you being here, guys. Again, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to Christopher. We're always grateful to have him here. You can subscribe there. The mods are putting the channel out there. But CCM Esquire, ESQ for Esquire on YouTube. Always appreciate you being here. And guys, make sure you catch us on our Free Britney hearing coverage, which will be happening on September 29th. I'll put the link in the description. You can go click set remind me, and we'll be covering that in depth as we have for a while now. Always wonderful to talk to you, Chris. I wish it was on better circumstances, but I appreciate your insight on this. You always bring so much gravity and smarts to this. So happy to have you. Final word?
Oh, thanks, Andy. I appreciate it.
Always good to have you guys. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. Christopher's got to go, but we got a lot more to cover. I appreciate you watching, clipping this for the sake of YouTube so people have this news. Thank you guys so much for watching on the replay. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe.